What is up? This is Bodie with Bodie Tree Social. Welcome back. Today's video, we are going to dive into the topic of negativity bias and how most people are controlled by this cognitive perceptual bias. So what is a negativity bias exactly? Well, let me just give you an example to help clarify what this is. Say for instance, you make a mistake, right? And you lose $40 from your bank account. So picture this happening, like you messed something up, you lost 40 bucks. This just happened to me recently. Or I lost maybe like 30 bucks. Now, take for example, you randomly find $40 on the side of the street, or you randomly get 40 bucks put into your account. Imagine that happening. Oh cool, I found 40 bucks. Which one do you think affects your experience, your state of being, your mind more? Which one affects you more? I notice for me, when I lose the money, I tend to think about it more. I'm like, oh man, if I just didn't make that mistake, you know, I would have been 30, 40 bucks richer right now, right? But I found, like the other day, I found 20 bucks on the street. I was like, oh, that's cool. But it wasn't, you know, by orders of magnitude, losing the 20, 30, whatever, 40 bucks affects me way more. Why is that? And this is what in psychology, in the field of psychology, they call negativity bias. And so I know as human beings in the modern day, in this modern, industrialized, technologically advanced society, we like to think of ourselves as these evolved beings. Right? We like to think that we have evolved and surpassed our caveman ancestors, so to speak. Oh, we're so far evolved beyond that. But the fact of the matter is, biologically speaking in terms of our brain development, our nervous system, we are basically identical. We are basically exactly the same. We live in a different sort of environment, but biologically speaking, we are exactly the same. And so thinking from the standpoint of our caveman ancestors, so to speak, a potential threat for them could mean life or death. If they missed a potential threat, they could die like that. Boom. They didn't notice the tiger lurking in the shadows, dead. In a second, dead. Oh, but they missed the deer lurking in the woods, their arrow missed or something. They missed an opportunity. Not that big of a deal. They'll live to see another day. More opportunities will come. But they missed the threat, they could die. And this is the origin of the negativity bias, right? There's a biological reason for this. It's wired into our nervous system because those of us who were able to better perceive potential threats were the ones who survived. The ones who were prone to notice opportunity more probably died because they didn't notice the threats. So it's wired into our DNA, into our biology and our nervous system to notice threats more so than to notice opportunity. And so this is why when you lose 40 bucks, it tends to affect you more. You ruminate on it more than when you gain the 40 bucks. So to me, the biggest way to overcome this is really to just recognize what's happening. It's like, oh, I'm being taken over by the negativity bias. You can notice it happening. And then shifting out of that mind state and that particular mindset to noticing, you know, like consciously focusing on opportunities, focusing on the good things that are transpiring. Like when you say you find the 20 bucks on the ground or an opportunity comes, you know, keep repeating it in your head, like, oh yeah, I got that 20 bucks. Like, how many more opportunities are out there? How many more, gifts are awaiting me, right? How many more good things are in the works? Just, how is the universe conspiring for me? Instead of, oh, everything's a potential threat, and having this proclivity or this tendency to focus more on the negative. And yes, it can be challenging to overcome because it is hardwired into the nervous system. It's hardwired into the biology. But you can still do it, I believe, to a degree. And honestly, it's not necessarily completely a bad thing to focus on potential threats or negative things. Because if you didn't, again, your life could get real bad real quick and you're like, la 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 la. Doesn't it, oh, everything's good, everything's fine, yeah, everything's beautiful, amazing, while your life goes to shit. So it's good to recognize, okay, I made a mistake, not gonna do that again. Remind yourself, okay, boom, moving on now. What are the pluses? What's the good in this situation, right? So reminding yourself of that continuously. It takes work, right? We need to use our capacity to consciously focus in order to overcome these tendencies of our brain and our biology and our programming and conditioning, right? We recognize that it's there, we bring awareness to it, we see it, then we say, okay, cool, I accept that, I see it. Now I'm going to consciously choose to shift in this new direction. I'm going to shift the gears, bam, move into this more beneficial direction, something that is more self-serving, right? And it's just a continual practice. It's gonna take time. The negativity bias, it's got a momentum. It's gonna persist, but that's okay. You notice it, and again, boom, you just shift the focus. Instead of me thinking, oh, I lost the 30 bucks because, someone paid me from PayPal and I forgot to tell them, do the friends and family. Instead of the business, because for business transactions, they charge, and it wasn't a business transaction. And I forgot to tell them, and so I lost 30 bucks. So I'm like, should have told them. Okay, I forgot. Moving on now. Moving on. Because the thing is, there's always more opportunity. You're never gonna run out of potential money and abundance and opportunities, really, right? But what you will run out of is time. So you don't want to waste your time and waste your life focusing on the negative, focusing on what went wrong, right? And also, the more you focus on it, the more it's a self-fulfilling prophecy of you actually creating that, of your RAS, reticular activating system, focusing on, oh, this is wrong, this is a problem. Instead of training that, readjusting your neurology and your nervous system to focus on, this is going right, this is good, this is positive, boom, 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 right? Shifting that focus. So you can train yourself to do this. People have done it. There's the opportunity and the capacity to develop a positivity bias. There's an entire field of psychology called positive psychology, and you can work on this and develop it. It is possible. Just as we can be in this negativity bias, we can also be in a positivity bias. It is possible, you can do it. It's just committing to the process, doing the work that is necessary. Future videos, I will delve into this topic even more, how to develop that more of a positivity bias. I'll be delving more into the field of positive psychology. I find it very fascinating, the psychology of happiness. And yeah, I appreciate each and every single one of you for tuning into this video. I hope this is beneficial. I make these videos to be of service to all of you out there, so thank you so much. Remember, as always, to live this life from a peak experience. And again, this has been Bodhi with Bodhi Tree Social. Much love to each and every single one of you. Peace.